Imagine opening a health magazine or watching a morning television show. Almost always, at some point, someone will talk about blueberries. These small blue fruits have gained a reputation as a superfood, as if they were capable of solving all the body's problems, strengthening the heart, rejuvenating the skin, boosting memory, and even warding off serious diseases. The image that has been created is that of a miracle fruit, a sort of natural passport to longevity. But is this really true? There's no doubt that blueberries are rich in antioxidants, fiber, and vitamins. Science shows that they do indeed help protect our cells from premature aging and even aid in brain function. But there's a problem. When a food is put on a pedestal, many people start to consume it incorrectly, believing that the more, the better. The result? Instead of reaping the benefits, they end up creating new risks for their own health. And this is even more delicate after the age of 60. The body at this stage needs balance, not excess. Many mature adults fall into the trap of believing that simply including blueberries in their breakfast is enough to fix everything. But the most common mistakes happen precisely at this moment in how they are chosen, cleaned, combined, or even in the quantity consumed. Small slip-ups that seem harmless but can compromise the heart, blood sugar control, memory, and even daily vitality. Have you noticed how the industry takes advantage of this reputation? Supermarket aisles display colorful packages with blueberry-flavored juices, sugary cereals with blue-painted specks, and even capsules promising to concentrate all the fruit's power into pills. But the truth is that most of these products have nothing to do with the original fruit. The consumer buys them believing they are investing in health, when in reality they are just taking home sugar, dyes, and additives that do the opposite. They increase the body's silent inflammation. This confusion is fueled by a seductive promise, the idea that a single food can act as a universal remedy. And that's precisely where the danger lies. The human body doesn't work with shortcuts. It needs diversity, balance, and consistent choices. Today, we are going to reveal the 7 most dangerous mistakes that adults over 60 make with blueberries, mistakes that can be costly to their health but are simple to correct once you know the truth. If you've also believed that blueberries were only beneficial, leave a like. This helps spread quality information and shows that more people are waking up to conscious eating. And pay attention, the first mistake is so common it has probably already happened in your own kitchen, trusting blueberries too much and forgetting the essential variety the body needs. The first mistake is, perhaps, the easiest to make. Many seniors end up believing that by including blueberries in their routine, they are already shielded against aging and disease. It's as if the fruit had the power to replace salads, legumes, lean proteins, and other sources of nutrients. But the human body is a complex machine, and no single gear works alone. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, natural pigments that act as antioxidants. These compounds help neutralize free radicals, small molecules that, in excess, accelerate cellular wear and tear. But here's the crucial point: antioxidants don't work in isolation. They need to work together with fiber, proteins, minerals, and other phytochemicals found in different foods. Imagine the body as an orchestra. Blueberries may be the violin, tuned and elegant, but it's no use for a violin to play alone if the drums, piano, and wind instruments remain silent. The result will be incomplete. Similarly, betting only on blueberries means ignoring the entire ensemble of foods that guarantee complete natural defenses. A practical example: Donna Helena, 67, decided that every day she would start her morning with a generous glass of a blueberry smoothie. She felt healthy, but over time she began to complain of fatigue, brittle nails, and muscle loss. What happened? In her quest for antioxidants, she neglected sources of protein and iron, which are essential for maintaining energy and muscle strength in maturity. The result was the exact opposite of what she expected. The mistake of relying on a single food is so common because the idea of a superfood is seductive. The media reinforces this myth, and many end up believing they can abandon variety. But in practice, this opens the door to silent deficiencies: low levels of vitamin B12, a lack of magnesium, a shortage of soluble fiber for the gut, among others. And here's the most important detail: studies show that diets rich in a diversity of fruits and vegetables reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease in seniors by up to 30%. Those who always eat the same foods, even healthy ones, do not show the same protection. The key is not in repetition, but in diversity. So, if you like blueberries, great. But think of them as part of a whole, never as the entire solution. Combine them with dark leafy greens, colorful vegetables, seeds, nuts, and lean proteins. This way, the antioxidants in blueberries find partners to act in harmony, strengthening the heart, brain, and even the immune system. And since we're talking about diversity, there's a hidden detail that many people ignore when they bring fresh blueberries home: washing them. It seems simple, but it can be a game changer between health and a silent risk. Are you sure you're washing your fruit the right way? When we talk about small, delicate fruits like blueberries, a hygiene mistake can go unnoticed, but the consequences can be serious. Many people believe that a quick rinse under the tap is enough to be safe. However, research shows that blueberries are often among the fruits with the highest levels of pesticide residues and microorganisms. This means that if you're not careful, you could be ingesting not only antioxidants but also invisible poisons for your body. The problem is even more delicate after the age of 60. The immune system no longer responds with the same strength as when we were young, and a simple food contamination can cause discomfort that would have previously gone unnoticed. Nausea, diarrhea, intestinal cramps, or even more serious infections can arise simply because the fruit wasn't properly cleaned. Another detail: many consumers buy prepackaged trays of blueberries and store them directly in the refrigerator, believing that the cold eliminates the risks. But that's not quite right. Refrigeration only slows the proliferation of bacteria, it doesn't eliminate pesticides or microorganisms present on the skin. And since we eat the fruit whole, without peeling it, all residues enter the body directly. But how do you wash them correctly? The process is simple but needs to be done carefully. Place the fruits in a clean bowl, cover them with filtered water, and add a tablespoon of white vinegar or baking soda. Let them soak for about 15 minutes. Then, rinse them again under running water before eating or storing. This care drastically reduces the presence of pesticides and eliminates most bacteria, making consumption much safer. And if possible, always prefer organic blueberries, which, although more expensive, tend to have fewer chemical residues. But it's not just the washing that can sabotage the power of this fruit. Many believe that just throwing them in the freezer solves everything. Freezing does help preserve nutrients, but when done incorrectly, it can lead to silent losses and even contamination risks. And here's the question almost no one asks: are you freezing your blueberries the right way, or are you turning an ally into an enemy without realizing it? Freezing fruit is a common and very useful practice, especially when we want to preserve nutrients for longer. In the case of blueberries, this technique can be a powerful ally, as the anthocyanins and vitamins in the fruit hold up well to the cold. But there's an important detail: freezing isn't just about throwing them in the freezer. When done incorrectly, the process can turn a nutritious fruit into an oxidized food, with a loss of flavor, texture, and even benefits. A very common mistake is putting blueberries directly into the freezer in the tray they came in from the supermarket. These packages are generally not suitable for long-term preservation. They allow air to enter, cause excess ice crystals to form, and accelerate the oxidation process. The result? Wrinkled fruits, without the same antioxidant power, and in some cases, even with a risk of contamination. Another mistake is refreezing the fruit multiple times. Imagine the scene: you take the package out of the freezer, thaw a portion, eat a few, and put the rest back. This back and forth changes the temperature of the fruit and creates an ideal environment for bacteria to multiply. Furthermore, each thawing process breaks down the fibers, releases water, and causes nutrients to be lost. In the end, what seemed like a healthy option can become a food poor in vitamins and even dangerous. Proper freezing requires a few simple steps. Wash and dry the fruits well before freezing. Excess moisture forms ice and compromises quality. Spread the blueberries on a baking sheet, leaving space between them. Place them in the freezer until they are firm. Only then, transfer them to proper freezer bags, well sealed, removing as much air as possible. By following this technique, you prevent the fruits from sticking together, preserve their intense color, and retain a large part of their nutrients. It's like you're pausing the fruit at its peak quality. However, even when stored correctly, there's another risk that few people realize: overconsumption. Frozen blueberries, being always available in the freezer, encourage the idea that you can eat as many as you want. But when the quantity goes beyond balance, the effect can be the exact opposite of what's expected, especially for blood sugar control and the metabolism of seniors. So, can eating one extra handful of blueberries really harm your health? The answer might surprise you. It's natural to think, if it's good for you, then the more, the better. This is one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to blueberries. Although they are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins, they also contain fructose, a type of natural sugar that, in excess, can cause serious problems, especially for those over 60. When consumed in large quantities, blueberries can cause blood sugar spikes. This happens because, despite being healthy, they are still fruits with simple carbohydrates. For a younger body, these spikes can be regulated more easily, but in mature adults with a slower metabolism or who are already dealing with insulin resistance, the excess can accelerate prediabetes and cardiovascular complications. Imagine the case of Mr. Robert, 65. He believed he was making the perfect choice by filling an entire bowl with blueberries for breakfast every day. However, in his routine checkups, he noticed that his fasting blood sugar was getting higher and higher. What seemed like a healthy habit was actually overloading his pancreas. This kind of surprise is more common than you might think. Another point is that an excess of fiber, while important for the gut, can cause abdominal discomfort, gas, and even diarrhea in some people. The body needs balance, not exaggeration. Science recommends moderate portions around half a cup per day, which is about 70 to 80 grams. This amount is enough to provide antioxidant protection without overloading the metabolism. There is also a psychological factor. Someone who eats large quantities of blueberries might end up relaxing on other health precautions, believing the fruit compensates for other dietary slip-ups. This sense of false protection is dangerous because it opens the door to greater imbalances. The truth is that even the healthiest foods need to be consumed intelligently. Blueberries are no exception. They work as an important piece of the nutritional puzzle, but they shouldn't take over the entire board. Now, if the quantity matters, the way you combine them is also crucial. After all, there's no point in choosing the best fruit in the world if it's accompanied by ingredients that silently sabotage your health. And it's precisely at this point that many seniors make the next mistake, mixing blueberries with inflammatory foods without realizing it. Is your favorite blueberry combination really helping your body, or is it accelerating the very inflammation you want to avoid? There's no point in choosing a fruit rich in antioxidants if, when you eat it, you mix it with ingredients that cancel out or even sabotage its benefits. This is an extremely common mistake, using blueberries in preparations full of sugar or ultra-processed foods. Think of the classic blueberry muffin, pancakes loaded with corn syrup, or even diet jams that promise health but hide aggressive artificial sweeteners. In these cases, the antioxidant power of the anthocyanins simply can't compete with the inflammatory load of refined sugars, trans fats, and preservatives. What seemed like a nutritious snack ends up becoming fuel for silent inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of the biggest villains of aging. It settles in slowly, without immediate symptoms, and over time increases the risk of arthritis, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases. Now imagine someone who eats blueberries every day, but always with sugary breakfast cereals or yogurts full of syrup. Instead of boosting their health, this person is, in practice, accelerating the wear and tear of their own body. On the other hand, choosing the right combinations can turn the fruit into a true tool for longevity. When paired with plain, unsweetened yogurt, for example, the proteins and probiotics join the antioxidants, creating a functional meal for the gut and the brain. If we also add chia or flax seeds, we increase the supply of fiber and healthy fats, which help with blood sugar control and cardiovascular health. This is why the dietary context matters as much as the food itself. A blueberry alone is powerful, but when placed in an unbalanced dish, it loses the battle against invisible villains. In smart combinations, its effect is multiplied. And here's an important thought: how many times have you bought a product at the supermarket just because it had a picture of blueberries on the package, believing it was healthy? Well, that is precisely the next mistake, perhaps one of the most treacherous, that deceives even the most attentive consumers. Does that blueberry juice or blueberry-flavored yogurt in your fridge really contain the fruit, or just an artificial trace created by the industry? This is, without a doubt, one of the most treacherous mistakes. The industry is well aware of the prestige that blueberries have earned and takes advantage of it to fill shelves with products that feature pictures of the fruit but, in practice, contain almost nothing but sugar, dyes, and flavorings. The consumer sees the blue packaging, reads blueberry flavor, and believes they are taking home the same antioxidants they would find in the fresh fruit. But the reality is different. Industrialized blueberry juices often contain only 1% or 2% of the fruit, if they contain any at all. The rest is water, glucose syrup, and additives. The same goes for artificially colored yogurts, breakfast cereals, and even capsules that promise to deliver all the benefits concentrated in a pill. In most cases, what you find there is just marketing disguised as health. The danger is that this deception creates a false sense of care. People believe they are strengthening their defenses when, in fact, they are ingesting products that increase silent inflammation, promote weight gain, and disrupt blood sugar. For those over 60, this can mean accelerating chronic problems like diabetes and hypertension. A curious fact, in the United States, lawsuits have been filed against brands that sold blueberry muffins and blueberry cereals that, in reality, contained no blueberries at all. The flavor came from a mixture of sugar, oils, and blue dyes. And this type of practice is not exclusive to one country, it's present in markets all over the world. To protect yourself, the secret is in the label. Always be suspicious when you see the phrase natural flavor or artificial blueberry flavor. This does not mean the fruit is present, only chemical substances that mimic its smell and taste. The ideal is to look for short, clear ingredient lists where blueberry appears among the first few items. And now I want to hear from you. Have you ever bought a product believing it was full of blueberries, only to discover it was just a marketing illusion? Share your experience in the comments, it helps many people open their eyes and not fall into the same traps. But even when we choose the fresh, real fruit, there is still a detail that can turn it into an enemy of health. We're talking about individual restrictions, which are often ignored and can pose serious risks, especially for those taking certain medications. Did you know that, in some cases, even fresh fruit can interfere with medical treatments and blood clotting? It's easy to believe that, because it's natural, a blueberry can only bring benefits. But the truth is that even foods considered super healthy can have contraindications in specific situations. This is the seventh mistake, ignoring individual restrictions. A classic example involves people who use anticoagulants. Blueberries are a source of vitamin K, a nutrient essential for blood clotting. In excess, it can interfere with the effective medications prescribed specifically to prevent blood clots. The result? The treatment may lose effectiveness or even pose risks of uncontrolled bleeding. That's why doctors always warn, those who use these medications need to keep their vitamin K intake stable and controlled. Another important point involves the kidneys. Blueberries contain oxalates, substances that, in predisposed individuals, can promote the formation of kidney stones. For someone who already deals with kidney stones, excessive consumption can worsen the condition and increase painful episodes. There are also cases of allergies, which, although rare, cannot be ignored. Itching, skin rashes, or digestive discomfort can be signs of hypersensitivity to the fruit. Often the problem goes unnoticed because the symptoms are mild and intermittent, but over time they can intensify. And even without specific diseases, each body reacts uniquely. For some seniors, large quantities of fiber-rich fruits can cause bloating, gas, and changes in bowel rhythm. What is synonymous with health for some can be daily discomfort for others. The mistake lies precisely in adopting the fruit without considering these individual details. The ideal is to talk to a doctor or nutritionist, especially if there is an existing health condition. Small adjustments such as limiting the amount, varying the fruits, or choosing appropriate combinations can make all the difference in consuming them safely. In the end, the secret is not to fall for the myth of the perfect food. Blueberries can indeed be an ally, but always within balance and respecting the needs of your own body. Now that you know the 7 most common mistakes, the big question arises: how can you enjoy the benefits of this fruit without falling into these traps? That's exactly what we'll reveal next, the correct ways to consume blueberries so they truly work as a powerful natural defense against aging. Now that you know the main mistakes, it's time to talk about the good part: how to turn blueberries into real allies for your health after 60. After all, the secret is not to exclude the fruit from your diet, but to learn how to use it correctly. The first step is proper washing. Remember, these are small fruits, eaten with the skin on, so any chemical residue or microorganism goes directly into your body. Dedicating a few minutes to wash them correctly with a vinegar or baking soda solution is not an overreaction, it's an investment in safety. The second point is the right amount. Blueberries work best in moderate doses, about half a cup per day. This portion is already enough to provide powerful antioxidants without overloading your metabolism with excess fructose. It's the balance that enhances the effects, not the excess. Another essential care is smart combinations. Avoid mixing them with refined sugar, cakes, or processed desserts. Prefer options that add nutrients instead of canceling them out, plain unsweetened yogurt, kefir, nuts, chia seeds, or flax seeds. This way, you turn a simple snack into a functional meal for your heart, gut, and brain. Furthermore, pay attention to variety. Don't fall into the trap of believing that blueberries are enough to meet all your needs. Include other colorful fruits, such as strawberries, raspberries, purple grapes, kiwi, and oranges. The more colors on your plate, the greater the diversity of antioxidants and nutrients. It's like assembling a true defense army for your cells. And if you choose to freeze them, do it the right way, dry them well, freeze them on a baking sheet first, and then store them in sealed bags with the air removed. This way, you preserve nutrients, color, and flavor, ensuring the fruit is always ready to be used without losing quality. When these practices become routine, blueberries cease to be just a passing trend and begin to fulfill their true role, helping the body protect itself against premature aging and diseases that affect quality of life. But there is a little-known detail that can boost these effects even more: food synergy. When we combine blueberries with specific nutrients, the result is multiplied. And this secret may be what's missing for you to get the most out of this small fruit. Do you want to discover which foods, when paired with blueberries, create an unbeatable duo against aging? If there's one thing nutritional science has increasingly shown, it's that foods don't work alone. They talk to each other inside the body, forming powerful partnerships. And blueberries are no different. The real secret to enhancing their benefits lies precisely in food synergy, the art of combining nutrients that complement each other instead of competing. A classic example is pairing blueberries with foods rich in vitamin C, such as kiwi, orange, or acerola cherries. This combination helps boost the absorption of the antioxidants present in the blue fruits, increasing their protective impact on cells. It's as if vitamin C is a key that opens the doors for the anthocyanins in blueberries to act more efficiently. Another perfect match happens when we add healthy fats. Antioxidants like polyphenol are fat-soluble, meaning they dissolve better in fat. This means that by eating blueberries along with nuts, walnuts, or even a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, the bioavailability of these compounds increases. In simple terms, your body can absorb more nutrients with a smaller amount of fruit. And it doesn't stop there. When we combine blueberries with foods rich in soluble fiber, like oats or chia seeds, we get a double effect: blood sugar control and a stronger gut. The fibers slow down the absorption of natural sugars, preventing glucose spikes, and also serve as food for the beneficial bacteria in your microbiota. This, in turn, strengthens your immunity and reduces silent inflammation. Imagine a bowl of plain Greek yogurt with a moderate portion of blueberries, chia seeds, and a few almonds. In a single dish, you create a meal that combines protein, probiotics, antioxidants, fiber, and healthy fats. It's practically a natural shield against premature aging, cardiovascular disease, and cognitive decline. This is the power of synergy, transforming a simple fruit into part of a complete defense system. And the most interesting part is that these combinations don't require complicated recipes or rare ingredients. With simple choices made daily, you can multiply the benefits of what you already eat. But there is an even more compelling reason not to give up on blueberries, especially when consumed in a balanced way. Several studies show that they have a direct impact on the mature brain, helping to preserve memory and mental clarity over the years. Did you know that a small daily portion of this fruit can help protect your most precious memories against the wear and tear of time? Among all the benefits attributed to blueberries, perhaps the most fascinating is the impact they have on the brain, especially in maturity. After the age of 60, memory and mental clarity become even more valuable treasures. And it is precisely on this point that blueberries shine. The credit goes to flavonoids, especially anthocyanins, the pigments that give the fruit its deep blue color. These substances act as neuronal protectors, helping to reduce inflammatory processes and improve communication between brain cells. It's as if, inside the brain, they work by polishing the wires of memory, allowing signals to pass more fluidly. Clinical studies have already shown impressive results. In research with seniors, those who regularly consumed small portions of blueberries showed improvement in memory tests and a greater ease of learning compared to those who did not include the fruit. There is also evidence that frequent consumption can slow cognitive decline, reducing the risk of diseases like Alzheimer's. Imagine the scene. Donna Clara, 72, a retired teacher, started including a handful of blueberries in her afternoon snack. In a few weeks, she noticed she could more easily remember where she left her keys, appointment dates, and even old songs that hadn't come to mind for a long time. This isn't a miracle, but nutrition working in favor of the brain. Another interesting factor is the relationship between blueberries and cerebral blood flow. Anthocyanins help improve circulation, ensuring that more oxygen and nutrients reach the brain. This is crucial for maintaining attention, focus, and even a stable mood, as proper oxygenation directly influences neurotransmitters like serotonin. But be warned, none of this replaces healthy lifestyle habits. Physical exercise, quality sleep, and cognitive stimulation are also fundamental pieces. Blueberries come in as allies, not as a single solution. And if you know someone who is concerned about their memory or fears the progression of neurodegenerative diseases, this could be a simple, accessible, and extremely effective measure. Therefore, share this video. It could be the push someone needs to include this small fruit in their routine and give more years of vitality to their brain. Now, after so many discoveries, the final question remains: if blueberries are so beneficial, why do we insist they are not miraculous? The answer lies in the truth that few have the courage to say, and that will conclude this journey with clarity. Are you prepared to discover the final truth about blueberries? After everything we've seen, it's time to face the unvarnished truth: blueberries are not villains, but they are not miracle workers either. They are, indeed, a fruit rich in antioxidants, fiber, and vitamins, capable of supporting the health of the heart, brain, and gut. But like any food, they work within a context, and that context is called balance. The biggest danger is believing that there is a magic cure hidden in a single ingredient. When we do this, we fall into two risks. First, we exaggerate the quantity, overloading the body. Second, we neglect dietary variety, missing out on other essential nutrients. It's like trying to build an entire house using only blue bricks. They are important, but without cement, wood, and a roof, no structure can stand. The true strength of blueberries lies in being part of a broad, colorful, and conscious eating routine. Alongside dark vegetables, vibrant legumes, whole grains, quality proteins, and good fats, they fulfill their role masterfully. Not as exclusive protagonists, but as members of a complete team. That is why the secret is not to put blueberries on a pedestal, but to understand that health is born from the sum of consistent choices. Eating a balanced diet, sleeping well, moving every day, managing stress, and maintaining social connections are pillars that no fruit, no matter how good, can replace. In the end, blueberries are a tool. A valuable piece in the puzzle of longevity, which can protect the brain, improve circulation, and strengthen the immune system, but only when used wisely. Therefore, the final message is simple and powerful: don't look for miracles, build consistency. You don't need secret formulas or magical promises. You need small daily choices that, when added together, create a lifestyle capable of sustaining vitality and mental clarity into your golden years. And if this video has opened your eyes to see beyond the myths and understand the true power of nutrition, take this moment. Subscribe to the channel and continue with us on this journey of transforming food into medicine. Each new piece of content will bring practical tools for you to live longer, with more energy, more lucidity, and more freedom. After all, living well is not a matter of luck or miracles. It's a daily choice, and today you have already taken an important step in that direction.